Okay, let's look at the marketplace. It's been a very interesting trading week. Stocks melt a little bit this week. Well, fixed income, bills and bonds a little bit seesaw because ahead of the June auction. This is the week of the budget. So let's put a bit of this through to the CEO at Afrinvest Securities, IODG. Ebo is joining us live via Skype at this point to wrap up the trading week for us. Ayo, it's good to have you this morning. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, good morning, Bosin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure you look a little bit dressed up for the Super Eagles' second match at this World Cup more than you're ready for the stock market. Are you watching the game at 4 p.m.?
Definitely. I won't miss that.
It looks like most offices will close a little bit early today. It's a Friday. So thank God it's Friday, 4 o'clock the match. Some folks will be closing up by 3:30, and everyone will be sitting around the television to watch this very important game.
Yes, interesting. It's good at least you can also watch with your colleagues.
Yes, that's interesting. If you guys are having some pizza and drinks, non-alcoholic around the office, maybe I'll just get out of the studios here and head down to your office and share. If you guys are going to pay the bill, I don't mind sharing some pizza, some whatever local delicacies with you in your office and the rest of your team.
Yeah, we're happy to welcome you.
Yeah, if you guys assure me that we're going to win, if it's not going to go that way, then I might just stay put around here and mind my business. So let's mind the business of the marketplace. That's the reason why we're here this morning. And has it been a very winning week on the fixed income side? Do you think investors will look at this week and say, well, it's been relatively good?
Yes, the fixed income market is being mixed this week. We saw, starting from the bonds market, we saw significant sell-off by offshore investors from Tuesday, and with that also extended to Wednesday. However, on the back of some of the yields being very attractive, we saw some investors cherry picking in some of those attractive instruments. We saw that yesterday. And we're looking at the Treasury bills market. There was a primary market auction on Wednesday. And when you look at in terms of the allotment ratio, it was not very encouraging, showing that investors are demanding higher yield for their investment, in addition to attractive interest rate that is also obtainable in the secondary market. We saw that when you look at the allotment ratio for the 364 days was as low as 0.2%, but still closed at the last marginal rate of 11.5%. So it's been mixed, and we saw the OMO auction, even there was no OMO auction on Thursday that was anticipated, and as a result, the liquidity in the system was significant, and that lowered the open buyback rate as well as the overnight buyback rate that closed around 4% levels. So we are still anticipating that the liquidity or control the liquidity in the system today. We're looking forward to the announcement of the CBN for OMO auction. But what we tend to also see is that with the current yield in the secondary market, investors will prefer to take position in the secondary market rather than wait that we're not sure if
if you look at the what the central bank did this week, you know, we lost Monday because it was a public holiday. So we've got one single treasury auction this week. And with that volume of mature treasuries repayment yesterday, the system liquidity moved up, interbank market, interbank rates, money market rate nosedive a little bit, and that's good. But then, do you think the central bank is positioning everyone for next week auction by the debt office?
Yes, would expect today. For the banks that are expecting to provide funds for the FX sales, and that will also reduce the liquidity in the system. We also expect that investors would also create funds for the upcoming bond auction next week. However, we project that the yield or the marginal rates may also increase slightly as investors continue to seek higher yield for their investments. This is expected because even as we approach the 2019 election, we expect to see more sell-off from foreign investors. As a result, yields are expected to improve. Also, the budgets have just been signed. The DMO will also be out to raise the domestic part of the deficit, which I think is about 1.9 billion trillion, if I'm correct. And that is also going to drive expectation in terms of yields higher. So we expect that at the close of the auction on Wednesday, yields will at least increase marginally, and we expect that the DMO will be able to fill its expected order. In terms of the subscription rate, we expect it to be successful and encouraging.
Inflation, headline inflation is being moderating consecutively for about a year and a half. So why would investors be looking for higher yield right now on treasury bills at the time the administration in first quarter took about 10 billion naira off the total portfolio of what the government borrowing on the marketplace is?
Hello, sorry. Hello, I can't hear you.
Ayo, yes, but if you can hear me, my question is, why are investors interested in higher yield on treasuries, for example, despite the fact that inflation, headline inflation, has been trending downwards for about a year and a half?
Yeah, beyond the inflation levels that have been trending downwards, we also look at the risk environment in terms of the economy. So when we look at the potential political risk, by the time you factor that premium into your expected return, that would also mean that investors would demand additional return to cover up.
Okay, I guess we a little bit of it's a little bit patchy there with the with the internet. It looks a little bit a bit of a problem, but we'll try and get Ayodiji Ebo back into the conversation. But we just need to let you know, if you're investing in the equity side of the market, this is one of the stories we're tracking for you. Some of the delayed first quarter 2018 earnings came in yesterday from one of Nigeria's once blue chip company in the services industry. That's USC Nigeria, reporting very disappointing numbers. Now, the analysts at FBN Quest just issued about one-page statement saying that stiffer competition is weighing negatively on the outlook of USC Nigeria. The company reported weaker than expected first quarter numbers. So FBN Quest says it's cutting the 2018-2019 earning estimates on EPS by a negative 65% on average, because the company is losing a bit of its market share, in particular from the animal feeds or animal nutrition business. USC's animal nutrition business prospects for 2018 is forecast at a negative 30% year-on-year decline in sales to about 40 billion naira. That's what FBN Quest pushed out this morning. The analysts also expect relatively high input in terms of grain costs to continue to weigh on the profitability from that segment of USC's business. So there's a new price target set by FBN Quest for USC. That's 16 naira 20 kobo, down a negative 39% because of the increase in outstanding shares following the rights issue that the company concluded, increasing its total share by 960 million to 2.81 billion shares. So USC has 288 billion ordinary shares in issue because of the rights issue. When you do a rights issue, you dilute your shares, you increase the number of shares you have in issue. If you're going to service that issue through dividend or whatever it is, your earnings per share, you've got to work very hard to have higher earnings to justify those shares. When it comes to dividend, you've got to pay for it. So higher shares in issue always very good, but you've got to service it. That means you've got to work very hard. But what's the bottom line here? FBN Quest is retaining its outperformance rating on USC Nigeria due to the valuation gap to their fair value estimates. At the current levels, USCN is trading on a 2018 earnings multiple of 31.9 for an average earnings per share growth of 27% over the 2018-2019 estimate period. Let's check in with Ayodeji from Afrinvest to weigh on the. Ayo, thank you very much. It was good to have you back. Let's move to the equity side very quickly and look at what the trading week has been for you. It's been a little bit bloody, isn't it?
Hello, I missed that. Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, I said the equity side of the market is a little bit bloody this week, not with what we saw yesterday.
Yes, we've seen the 3 trading days for this week has been on a downward trend, and so yesterday the large cap stocks, likes of GT Bank, Dangote Cement, and Seplat, has been dragging the index downwards. But it was also recalled the last 2 weeks we saw significant rally in the market. So we feel investors are also trying to take position, while some, especially foreign investors, are also reducing their exposure to the equities market and moving their investment to more safer and secured investment, like fixed income investment. The 19th election. But notwithstanding, we also believe that this will also present opportunities for some investors that have missed taking position when market prices were high. In terms of valuation, relatively cheap compared to when the last 2 weeks. And we know the typical Nigerian investor, because of dividend, as we approach the end of H1 2018, we expect that there are some banks that we all know, top banks, that also announce interim dividends. Also to enjoy the interim dividend. We believe that there is still the opportunity with the system, in the market rather.
Give us a final word for next week when we will be wrapping up the month of June. Yes,
we expect that market will still remain very soft. Portfolio investors will be trying to rebalance their portfolio as they approach the end of H1, or what we want to call Q2 2018. We expect to see increase in number of, in the volume of activities in the market as we approach the end of the month.
Okay, let's check in with you at Afrinvest, you and the rest of your team next week, and see what if you look at the first 6 months of the year for us, we can just start doing a wrap up anytime from Monday, Tuesday, as soon as the DMO is done on the 27th. We'll just take the rest of that with us through the weekend. That will be next week. Then we'll find out whatever happens. But your offer still stays as far as the World Cup Nigeria's match today. This is today with Iceland is concerned. So let's see how we put all those. Put all those drinks and everything on ice. Most likely I'll be heading downtown later today. Thank you very much, Ayodeji from Afrinvest Securities, the Chief Executive Officer and the Managing Director.